With so much uncertainty in the economy, avoiding financial mistakes is as critical as ever. Unfortunately, many younger Americans are feeling ill-equipped to manage their money.
That's right. Brad Allen from Drake & Associates joins us to share 4 money mistakes young people like me are making and how to correct them. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
So, yes, this is going to sound very much like we're talking down from generations because this is the Gen Zs and the millennials, right?
It is, yeah. So it's been tough the last couple of years. You know, I think with Gen Z and the millennials, they really haven't seen the inflation that we're seeing right now.
Okay.
Because it was in the 70s, 80s, and 90s that people were buying houses and paying 13% in interest and all those things, right? But it's been
new
low
for
for a
that.
long time.
Right.
Yeah, so it's all new, and there's different ways to kind of tackle it and make sure you're doing the right things, but it has been tough.
How do we educate them? Because I was telling you a story, found some money on that unclaimed property site that my parents had, and I gave half to my niece, half to my nephew. I said to my niece, I'd like you to put this in your IRA. She said, oh, I already put the maximum in. I said to my nephew, I'd like you to put it in your IRA, and he said, what's an IRA?
Yeah. He's like, my friend Ira, I'm not giving him this money, forget that.
How do you educate them?
Well, it's tough. I think the first thing is keeping up with the Joneses. A lot of the kids, especially, you know, that's an old term, but it's especially now with social media. You see all the cool clothes and gear and all the vacations and the trips and all the things that you want to do. And a lot of people are spending money on things that necessarily they don't need to spend money on. And it's really just prioritizing, I guess, your future over some of the cool things that you could buy right now.
The old wealthy barber routine of pay yourself first, right?
Right.
You know, in this day and age of social media, too, it is tough, I think, for many generations to perceive that everyone else is doing all this stuff. So then they end up doing those things, but on borrowed money.
Yeah, credit card debt is huge right now. I mean, you know, you think about the kids coming out of college. They have student loan debt, they have credit card debt, they're trying to buy a car, a house payment, whatever it might be. It's tough to tackle that debt. There's different ways to do that. You know, debt is tricky, especially the high interest credit card debt, but you want to sit down with a financial advisor and figure out what is the best way to tackle this. The snowball method, there's the avalanche method, there's all these different ways you could do it, but you want to figure out what's best for you, you know.
And you want to plan.
You want to plan. Plan for retirement, plan for your future. Put 10 to 15% of your paycheck into those retirement accounts. Unfortunately, over the pandemic in the last couple of years, a lot of the millennials haven't been putting money into those accounts, you know, and everybody's going to retire someday, so you want to make sure when you get there, you've saved enough money to do that. So 10 to 15% from your paycheck to the retirement accounts, and then you can adjust it every year, 1 to 2%, where it automatically goes up.
It just keeps growing and growing.
It's out of sight, out of mind, right? You don't see it, it just keeps growing.
You can't spend it if it's already in the bank.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
So that was number 3, was spending without a plan. What are we at here? Number 4?
Right,
We got
neglecting your savings.
Yeah, neglecting savings is a tough one. You know, not only putting money into retirement accounts, but also emergency funds. We saw how over the pandemic, how important it was to have cash on hand.
Yes.
Right? People lost their jobs, they were furloughed, whatever happened during
You're
that
out of
time
toilet
period.
paper, so.
Right, yeah, you don't know where that money's going to come from, so having that money set aside is really important as well.
Rob, what made you good with money? Where did you learn about it?
Not having much for most of my life. And growing up with, in a household where money was tight, I think you pick up on that vibe.
Right. You learn how to budget, right? I mean, you learn how to save in certain areas, spend in others, and if you put that on paper and put down what am I spending versus what am I saving, that really helps a lot.
Well, if you ask a lot of these folks that, analyze what a generation is and what made them the way they are, a lot of it comes down to the economy they were brought up in, which is where we started this conversation.
Right.
Like you said, we're talking about generations that have never seen mortgages above 5%.
Right. I work a lot in retirement, and people who were in retirement, the first mortgage they bought, they were paying 12 or 13%. They say, this is great right now, but you put it all into perspective. When you look at a couple of years ago and you're paying very little on that.
There was like 2s.
Right. Now it's gone up quite a bit. So, I mean, I get it, but you just want to sit down with a financial advisor. I don't care if you're 20 years old or you're in retirement right now. Sitting down and coming up with a plan on how do I get from point A to Z, that's really what's going to help you, because it's different for everybody. Everybody's situation is different. Every plan that's put together should be different as well.
Yeah, that long term. I'm sending my nephew your way.
Sounds good.
You can teach them what IRA really stands for. Thank you so much for coming in. Hopefully we corrected some of your mistakes, or at least gave you an idea of what mistakes you or your kids might be making. We'll be back in just a bit.